Director, welcome. I not had a chance to meet you, so it's a pleasure, and I'm sorry for my tardiness. In your presentation,
Do you have a note from home?
I do. Would you like one?
Okay, we'll get it later.
Did you touch on the race to the top at all during your? Okay, and
I did, and I'd be happy to respond to anything you need about that. I will be providing each of you with a copy of my remarks, so that might help as well.
so will we have an application in for the next round of money?
The application for Race to the Top is really in 2 stages. Phase 1 is due by December, and Phase 2 is due in the spring. At this point, I think Missouri has not really initiated a process for developing an application. So, and many states are pretty far down the path, down the road in developing their applications for Phase 1. For that reason, I think Missouri will be well served by focusing our time and energy on crafting a very well thought out proposal for Phase 2.
So we're not going to apply for the first round of money?
That would be my recommendation. The application is actually the governor's application, and we in the department will be providing support and leadership to assist the governor in submitting that.
So you just drew attention to wanting additional funding for early childhood, but you're not going to apply for $100 million that's available from the federal government because why?
I don't believe that we can put together a viable application by December 1.
And I understand that you're new, so who didn't do their job?
The regulations, the final regulations for Race to the Top will not be published until October. So up to this time, there has been a lot of debate about what that application should look like. Nevertheless, some states, primarily those that received significant funding from the Gates Foundation, were in fact starting to work on some kind of application as early as last spring. Those states, again, had funding, significant funding to support that effort. Missouri was not one of those. So one of our challenges is not only to initiate and convene a group, as I mentioned, a very diverse statewide group of individuals to put that together, but we also are going to have to figure out how we're going to fund that proposal. It's going to be very expensive just to write the application. It's a very extensive application. I mentioned earlier the estimate is about 680 hours of time just to complete the application.
How many employees does DESE have now?
I'm sorry, sir, I couldn't tell you exactly.
But it's one of the largest organizations in the state.
That's correct.
And we've had no one that has been able to work on this since it came out. And if you said the final rules just came out or will be done in October, so that would lead me to think that all the states are in the same boat. If the rules come out in October, that most states will be able to get something done in December if we're all in the same boat. And I understand that you're new, but if you just look at $5.8 billion that's sitting out on the table, if you take Missouri as 2% of the population of the country, you do some easy math, there's $100 million sitting there. And I'm hearing that we're just not going to apply because nobody's done the work. It might cost us some money to make an application, but if everybody is going to start from October, we should have the manpower. We should be able to find the money and spend the money to make some money. And there's $100 million that's sitting out on the table that we're not even going to compete for, and that just doesn't sit well with me.